John Wick 3 Parabellum is a direct continuation of the entertaining second movie, picking up just after the last film left off, in which the assassin is excommunicated from the guild and on the run, with a $14 million price on his head and assassins all around the world looking to get a piece of that cash. The ending of the last film left a terrific image in your head, with John having defeated multiple enemies in the film, over 100 I read somewhere. Now he has the entire world of assassins out to get him, and there's a great shot of him running with his dog, while shady and ominous looking bystanders, postmen, joggers, taxi drivers eye him up and await the countdown to when he is officially on the market. This film starts in the same way, with him on the run, and your expectations are through the roof now, and you just feel like everything is going to explode because it's literally just one man against the world, and that clock is counting down. What results is a movie so exhilarating, so pumped with adrenaline, with gorgeously shot action scenes and cinematography that belongs in an art house film, that I think this is by far the best John Wick movie and deserves to be up there with the likes of Mad Max Fury Road and The Raid 2 as the very best of what 21st century action cinema has to offer. And to think I thought the second film might have been a fluke in how good it was. I watch so many movies, and when you get to a certain stage, you stop specifically following individual film series and just watch whatever's available. But one of the first things I did after watching John Wick 3 was look online to see what the release date of the fourth movie would be, because I am really looking forward to it and have complete trust in the filmmakers after the delivery of this installment. It's actually a weirdly nostalgic feeling, actually looking forward long term to a new movie, because aside from Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, there isn't a lot of works I actively follow and look out for. One of the handful of film series that gets better with each installment, Chapter 3 doesn't have much of a story, much like the last two, and instead uses the respite in between its awesome action scenes to provide some tongue-in-cheek guest appearances from memorable faces and semi-meta conversations in which I'm sure guys like Lawrence Fishburne are only just about managing to avoid winking at the camera. Keanu's acting, by the way, is so shit and stiff, but crazily it's perfect for the role and the type of film this is. It knows what it is, it knows you know what it is, and despite that, it does not rest on its laurels and instead delivers some terrific things that I've never seen done in an action film before. There's two guys from the Raid movie in this, which was a really nice surprise, and they have an intense showdown with Wick in one of the many great fight scenes. Amid the furious flurry of punches, chops, locks and kicks, the opponents help each other up as a sign of respect, signal to each other that they needed to rest, and at the end even accept a stalemate with a courteous goodbye. There was another fight scene where two guys have a fist fight surrounded by knives on display, and they're all in the moment and it's all intense, and then all of a sudden at the same time they realise they've got weapons available all around them, and they scamper to the closest blades. There's loads of stuff like this in the movie, moments in the fights that feel spontaneous like in the previous two films, where guys reload their pistols right in front of each other's faces and fluff many of their moves. It's one thing for the filmmakers to orchestrate incredible fight scenes, and it's another to inject a sense of almost comical, lifelike mini conundrums into them. The result is a film series that has a style of action that is, dare I say it, almost unique to the series. Ironic, seeing as though the film is a callback to the days of brooding, quiet heroes who are unstoppable in dispatching nameless, faceless henchmen. Because John Wick, especially number 3, is one of the best films of its kind. I was never the biggest fan of the first film, and one of my peeves was that the fight scenes felt repetitive. It was usually Reeves walking around with a pistol, effortlessly ending retarded goons, and it loses steam after a while. This film, on the other hand, changes things up a lot, and each fight scene has its own selling point. Some of the standouts including Halle Berry's two dogs who charge into battle with her, biting the bollocks off enemies and adding an interesting dynamic to her fighting style. A motorbike chase where Keanu is on the run on a horse, and a sword fight in which some deceptive glass is just as much of a participant as the two fighters are. Even the polite receptionist gets in on the action, in a brilliant shotgun rampage. I love action films, but I don't really know how to review them past calling things awesome and brilliant. But with action cinema, the action itself has to pull you in. It has to move you in the same way a love story does, or a really intense drama. There's something that separates great action films from the usual fluff. The sound design, for example, is immense in this film. The sound of those titanic shotguns, the cathartic smashing glass that Wick is pushed into again and again in one of the fight scenes, it makes you feel like you're 7 years old again. And you want to start running around the room, jumping on sofas and punching invisible bad guys. It's ambitiously good looking, much more so than it has any right to be with the rich colour palette. It's got some extraordinary stunts, increased world building from the last films, subtle and clever use of CGI, an excellent soundtrack, and since the main cast are all accomplished fighters and took extensive training for the film, shaky cam was left on the coat rack for this one, and what resulted is the best action film I've seen all year. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.